going to do, we're going to give you one to do at home because we're running a bit short. We're going to do one called the soap, which is one I did. This was going back about 4 or 5 courses now. I think Tim witnessed some of the last end result. Basically, the context is that I was doing cutting edge upper intermediate, and my group, to be honest,
there's a task in the back about that, isn't
Yeah,
there?
I based it on that. I found them really quite difficult. It was a very dry class. They weren't really gelling. So I kind of thought I need to really kind of find a way to kind of get them a bit more motivated and to kind of collaborate more together. And so what I did, I looked at the origin of the task. Basically, is there's a soap opera role play in the teacher's book. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Yeah? Have you used it before?
I think I tried it last term. It was alright.
That's what. Yeah, exactly. It was alright. I thought, well, let's give it a go. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to really make a good task out of it. So what I did first, I got them to do a little web quest. So this was the little web quest that they did, just to kind of get them into the different, because they love soap operas. Soap operas is a real passion of quite a lot of Colombians. So I got them to do a little web quest. So just have a look at that. And all the stuff on Wikipedia is really well laid out. This is a very big section on Australian soaps, US soaps, and American soaps. And what they did is they shared their results together, answered these questions, and then we kind of got onto the idea of Colombian soaps. Okay? And what we did then is, from that, we kind of built up like a mind map about soap operas, about famous soaps in Colombia, common locations, common characters, so kind of the stereotypes of characters, and common events. Okay? And once we'd done that, I kind of fed in some of this kind of stuff here, and they put that on their mind map. So did they have any of these kind of events? And if not, could they add them into their mind map? So stuff like someone's just been shot, someone's going to kidnap someone else. So at the end of it, they had a really nice mind map of basically the conventions of soap operas. Then what I did, I got them into groups, and I kind of made sure that the group dynamics, because the group dynamics were pretty terrible at the beginning of the class, so I made sure that I kind of chose students who weren't really kind of working together to kind of build a better atmosphere in the class. And I told them that the task was that they had to write a soap opera based on the topic of this unit, which was fame. Yeah. So the topic of the soap opera, the title of the soap opera was called Fame. And what I did during the course, I put in about 20 minutes during each week for them to get together and sketch out their soap opera. So first of all, they decided who the characters were, what the relationships were between the characters, what the problems were. So basically they were building up. And about halfway through the course, I got them to start actually writing a script. So about 20 minutes of each lesson they started writing a script. And as we covered language, what we did is we integrated the language into the script. So during cutting edge, there's lots of kind of discrete grammar, which I didn't really like, but what we did in terms of practice is we integrated it into the script. So we did a grammar lesson, and then we looked at their scripts and we could see how it fitted in naturally. Then we looked at vocabulary, stuff like there's a word spot on take. There was some, what else we got in there? We got some vocabulary on fame, gerunds and infinitives, all that kind of stuff. And gradually, lesson by lesson, we integrated it into the script. This is what they produced, but at the end of the lesson. And what I did, I got them to record it on a video. And at the end, I invited all the students from that time in the morning, the Bridge Council, to come in and watch what they produced. Yeah, and it was really funny. I'll show you what one of them produced, and then you get more of an idea.
once in the world of fashion, married with Richard Stanton. After several years of marriage, she becomes pregnant and her doctor informs them that they'll have a daughter. Richard has to travel to Japan for business, and Alice, his best friend, has to look after Helen. However, Richard's former girlfriend, Samantha, secretly still loves him and hates Helen deeply. When she realizes that Helen is pregnant, she becomes hysterical, paranoid, and attempts to destroy Helen's dreams.
Oh my dear, I miss Richard so much. He has to work so hard, and I feel really bad without him.
Don't worry, you will come back soon. No, usually they'll relax.
With the help of her friend Dr. Jones, steals Helen's daughter from the hospital, and she is abandoned to her fate at the door of an orphanage in a neighboring town. When Richard arrives at the hospital, he gets terrible news.
Okay, and there's a really great bird scene in that.
What did they film that, Tom?
What's that?
What did they film that?
Well, this is the great thing. I mean, this is the script. They wrote the script, and at the beginning of the class, you've never known such a class there was so little dynamic between them. And by the end of it, they were communicating through Skype. They were sending each other emails, working on the script, going around people's house. That was one of the students' houses.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
And at the end of it, the atmosphere completely changed in the group. And I actually, the feedback that I got from this course I showed you was the best feedback I'd actually received.
In your life?
Yeah, well, yeah, but even from my mum. No, but they really, really liked it. It really kind of motivated them. And we also covered all the language in the course, but in a slightly different way. It wasn't, right now we're going to do, the present perfect. It was
How many groups did this?
2. There were 2 groups. So there was 8, I think there was 10 people in the group, so it was 5 and 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They all have major and minor roles.
Yeah. They all had a role in it. And we integrated all the language. We did some work on intonation and pronunciation, although you wouldn't probably guess from the performance. But as we were working in groups, we were looking at the script and we were going over stress, intonation, linking, all that kind of stuff. So that's what they produced. Okay? So
here you also need to bear in mind that language again is a tool here, it's not the objective.
Yeah.
Unlike with activities, the task which engages in interest, the task which relates to their life, that comes first. Language is a supporting mechanism to communicate, it's the vehicle of communication. So it does change the way they relate to language. They're focused on the task, but they're using language to achieve it, like in real life really. They don't sit with books and practice gap fill exercises. It is important to focus on the form, but it shouldn't take control away from achieving something. And another thing, what you notice about this task, every task requires a collaboration. Every task they needed to work together, otherwise
next, just before we wrap up and we'll talk about next session.
It's next week, right?
Next week, yeah. This is basically, task-based learning doesn't take a huge change in your teaching. It just takes a slight shift in how you conceptualise a lesson and a course. First of all, I think the first question is there an outcome? If there's not an outcome of an activity that you're doing, a kind of non-linguistic outcome, it's not really task-based learning. And the success is judged on completion of the outcome, not on what language. In a PPP lesson, success is judged on the integration of discrete items. Whereas task-based learning isn't. It's thinking about doing the task and using their linguistic resources and helping them doing it better. Is there focus primarily on meaning and not form? So during this session, you've seen different ways we can focus on meaning. Yeah, so making a soap opera, giving a guided tour, telling an anecdote, yeah, writing a film review. Yeah, that's a meaning-focused objective. Does the activity engage the learner's interests? And that's really important. Think about what motivates your learners and use that as a starting point. Obviously, the starting point, you also need to think about your textbook. But thinking about, if you've got, 3 units to get through, don't just plough through them unit by unit. Think about what your learners might enjoy and use that to motivate them. Does the activity relate somehow to real life activities? And you know, obviously making a soap opera isn't related to real life, but there's certain cognitive skills that we've seen, listing, sorting, creating something, that's all based on real life activities. And also there needs to be a focus on language. I think the idea about task-based learning is language focus disappears completely from the task cycle. As long as you integrate language focus, and it could be pronunciation, it could be lexis, it could be grammar, as long as it's in there somewhere, I think vocabulary, I think that's
Chunks of language.
chunks of language. Okay, now what we're going to do next time, we're going to go through this and we're going to look at different ways. Hopefully you've identified lots of ways of supporting tasks, lots of starting points, finishing points, different ways of balancing skills, different ways of focusing on form. And we're going to be going through this observation task, so can you bring this next Friday? And then next week what you're going to do is you're going to look at your course and think about how you can start integrating this stuff into your teaching. And we'll basically, see what happens. They're not perfect. The first couple of tasks you do might not go very well. Certainly, you know, my experience with task-based learning is trial and error. But I do think that, you know, when it works, for me, I wouldn't do anything else. So, see you all next week.
Good time.